welcome to the ongoing history of beer. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today in my fake basement, I have Joe and Lindsay joining me from Grain and Grit.
Hi.
So warm welcomes.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I feel like it's nice to sort of wrangle people in throughout their busy schedules.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So you are both owners of Grain and Grit.
We are.
Yes. Where are you located?
We're located in the west end of Hamilton.
West end of Hamilton.
So if just west of McMaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Hamilton's booming now.
It is. It sure is.
How long have you guys been open?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So within 2 years, I feel like 3 years ago there was maybe no breweries in Hamilton. One.
There was
one.
Collective Arts.
Well,
right.
Yeah. That's
Was the first? Yeah. So,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just
and
one.
now there's like 6 of you guys.
Yeah.
And you're all making fantastic beer.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so fun because we're also different in our styles that we brew.
Yeah.
And we always have something new. So if you go to Hamilton on any given weekend, there'll be at least one new beer from one of the breweries, at least.
Yeah.
Probably more.
Yeah.
So it's really fun.
And you guys put out a lot of beer.
We do. We put out a lot of new beer.
rotate.
That's sort of our thing, is to always have something new for everybody.
So let's get into beer. Let's start with beer.
Sure.
We will be drinking a beer after the break. But
Yeah.
before that, we talk about that specifically. What do you guys have? Like, how many taps are you doing there? And some are standard, right? And then you have a few rotating. Like you say, your seasonals are kind of come and go.
Yeah, we're a little like, we don't have
There's no rule book.
There's no rule book, and I think that's the fun thing about being such a small brewery is that there's no rule book. So we always have our taps are rotating. We have 8 taps, and we often have a couple that are sort of standards, like our In the Palms IPA. That one's there all the time because we have some great licensees that want it all the time. So we keep brewing it for them mostly, and also our customers love it.
Yeah.
And then we just keep rotating through. We have new beers and then other old favorites that come back.
Right.
And so it's fun. It just keeps it interesting.
It does.
Yeah, it's not boring when you come
it's
to
nice to always go in and have something fresh, but
Yeah.
still get something that if you're not sure how you feel, you can still go back to your
old
standard favorite too,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Today we're actually canning our 52nd style beer.
What?
So in 2 years we've done 52 different styles of beer.
Holy cow.
So right now we're canning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I
that's
drink
over
there fairly
50%.
often, but I'm like far behind. There's no way I've had 52 different ones from you guys. So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, over 50% of our beers so far have been new beers.
Yeah. And do you help with the brewing as well, Joe?
Yep. From the brewing side, I'm more like helping with production and stuff like that. I've only brewed about 3 or 4 different batches myself.
Okay.
I have like 86 batches.
Right.
But certainly Alex and I work together on the recipes and the styles, and some of them are from my home brewing days, some of them are from Alex's, and then
Nice.
some of them are just brand new beers for us.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you do have a home brewing background. Right?
Yes, yeah.
And Alex is from your brewer. He's from Germany.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
from
from
Dresden.
Yeah.
Dresden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you get a hold of him?
Oh, it's such a funny
Yeah, it was.
story. When we were buying the building, our lawyer, he was telling us that his son-in-law just moved back from Germany because his daughter, they grew up in Dundas, like his daughter, and she married someone from Germany, and they lived there for a while. He was a winemaker, and he said, but he's really wanting to get into brewing, and he brews at home, and he's really good, and he would love to meet you. And so Joe ended up going for dinner with him.
It was like December 20th or something.
Of 2016, I think.
It would have been 2016.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then we offered him a job like January 4th or something.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And he helped us build the brewery. He was an integral part of the process of building the brewery, and he's an integral part of everything today.
Yeah,
still.
he's very, I mean, there are a lot of nice people. He's very nice. I don't know.
Amazing.
If you ever have a chance to go into Grain and Grit too and you see Alex working around back there, he's always up for saying hi and chatting beer, and is, I think, quite proud of what he brews there too.
He should be. Yeah.
So only with a homebrew, not to just talk about him because he's not here, but like, you guys have been pretty bang on from the start too.
Yeah.
Like I think your beers have been, sometimes when people open, they have to break in the system and work a little bit. But I think you guys have been very strong from the start. So that's interesting to know that he didn't have a huge background of commercial stuff.
Not the
or
commercial.
as well.
Yeah. So his wine was commercial. He did 3 seasons in wine. So he had a lot of that, and then a lot of the batches he was making in the wine industry were 10 times the size of the beer.
Yeah.
But he's very particular. He takes his time. He's does a lot of research. If he's brewing a different style of beer that he's never brewed before, he'll buy a book and really do the research on the hops, the grains, the yeast that we want to use. So
he's got passion.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
not just there having fun. He's there, he's passionate and
and having fun.
He's having fun, but he takes it very serious. Always, yeah. So
yeah, he's awesome. He's really the
so
best.
Why did you decide to open a brewery? Why did you do this? That's crazy. Like, why are you going to open a brewery? I'm like, why would I open a brewery? So why did you do this?
We wanted to get bought out by Molson.
Yeah, excellent.
Yes.
How far along your way? I've seen your umbrellas.
Yeah. They want to buy our 2,000
your
liter
system
for
there.
sure.
Yeah.
They're very interested in your double IPAs and your very good sour.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
It comes from a passion, really. Yeah, I've always been passionate about everything to do with beer, history, styles, the different history of different breweries in the U.S. and Europe and stuff. So, and then started homebrewing, fell in love with that, and then Lindsey's always had that entrepreneurship as well. So she was always kind of poking at me to we should really research this because we talk about it, but I was always like, we can't do that. It's
we would have a fight about it actually. It was like an ongoing fight that we would have for about 7 years maybe, because we talked about having a brewery.
Still going on today.
All the time. Yeah, it actually is, but in a different way, which is really funny because I'm always like pushing it. I want to go to the next level, right? And I was like, we should start a brewery. We talk about it all the time. You love beer, I love design, I love customer service. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. It's such a good mix. But he was always putting up the wall because of money mostly, and just
adult responsibilities,
and just being afraid of what that would do to our lives, kind of, which is funny because it's been the best thing that we could have ever done.
You have to take risks, right? So I think it is interesting being a couple as well. In opening it together. I'm sure that's not always the easiest thing, having to do everything together, but it's nice to know each other and have that push from you as well to have the belief that things can happen.
That you can do it. Sure. But then he started homebrewing, and that was
that's where the trigger was kind of switched.
Yeah, he was like, okay, I like this a lot. I can see myself doing this. Let's start to think about it seriously. Right. And then he started to research, and it was, the ball started rolling big time.
Nice. So we have about a minute left before we go to break. Okay. How did you was it hard to find the space in Hamilton?
It was.
Because you're in an old muffler shop or an old auto shop?
It was called Westdale Auto Service. Okay. And there was a big sign for Muffler Bay on the outside, and we actually brought that sign inside. So it's pretty fun to have a piece of the history. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I love the continuing of people making breweries out of these old buildings. And I think that they're built for that too, with the high ceilings.
Yeah, a lot of the cool industrial spaces, right, work. Yeah. Luckily, we're kind of in a neighborhood with an industrial building, so that's really beneficial for us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, so we are going to throw this to break, and when we come back, we're going to pour a beer into the glass and chat a little bit more about the beer in the brewery.
Sounds good.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll be right back.
Sometimes it's hard to say goodbye to an old friend. But when you're saying farewell to your vehicle, Kidney Car makes it fast and easy. Just call or visit our website. We'll take any vehicle in any condition and give you a tax receipt for a minimum of $300. No headaches and no towing charges. It's the one-stop solution for getting rid of your unwanted vehicle in just a few short minutes. When your vehicles reach the end of the road, call us toll-free or visit kidneycar.ca.
It was 1978. Disco was huge.
In 1983, you see a lot of fear of the implication of computers.
I have very little memory of 92. I only have one.
1939 is often thought of as the best year for film. Well, I think 2007 comes really close.
So what do you think of that?
I think it changed the way I see film.
Senior Care developed the program in 2003, really in an effort to provide some holiday cheer to seniors that are needy or isolated. We have Christmas ornaments that hang on trees, and we have 2 locations. So our office at Homestead Senior Care in Kitchener-Waterloo, but also the Chartwell Wellington Park location has a tree. So people from our community would go to the tree, pick an ornament off the tree, and there's a very simple and very humble Christmas wish on that ornament. You would go out, you would purchase the gift, and you would bring your ornament along with the gift unwrapped back to the location where you got the tag. So the deadline for our program this year is December the 10th. So for those people that pick up an ornament, if they could bring back the ornament along with the unwrapped gift to the location where they received the ornament by December the 10th, that would be great.
Welcome back to the Ongoing History of Beer. I'm your host, Tiffany, and again today we're joined by Joe and Lindsey of Grain and Grit out of Hamilton, Ontario. And we've poured a beer. Yay! Yay. We've made it. You're still here, and we've made it to the beer part of our segment. Much cheers to you.
Cheers.
Lovely. Please explain to the crowd what is in the glass today.
So, drinking a beer that we released on Friday, which is the Threlsner. So what we've taken is German-style Pilsner and kind of made it Americanized a little bit. So we've dry hopped it with Citra.
Okay.
So it's got kind of that sharp back end that you would get from a traditional Pilsner, but then the fruitiness of the Citra really kind of cuts through that too. So you're going to get a lot of kind of oranginess, a lot of stone fruit on the nose, and then you're going to get kind of the earthiness of the grains of a Pilsner and a bit of a sharp back end, but then still that Citra is going to come through.
Okay, so because of the Citra that you're adding into that, or did you say dry hopping?
Dry hop, yeah.
That's what's kind of giving it more of an American style?
Yeah, so we've dry hopped quite a bit on this beer, like you would in kind of like a session IPA in a way. So you're going to get a lot of the aroma from that, and you're going to get a lot of the flavor from it.
Right.
Low bitterness because it is, it's only about 30 IBU.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get that big back end bitterness, but it's going to be sharp from the Pilsner kind of back end. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys make nice beers.
Thank you.
Let's delve into your resume of beers, shall we?
Sounds good. We have 52. Like that's a lot of beers.
It is, and you do some more out there styles, like you were saying, or just a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a fantastic beer. There's nothing wrong with it, but let's get into some of your more fun things that you do. What are your favorite or your inspiration for doing this kind of wacky stuff?
Yeah, we use a lot of ingredients like fruits, and we use lactose, and we just try to have fun and play around and experiment.
Yeah.
Right? So one of the ones that we do that's really popular is called Berry Good.
Yes.
And it's a sour with blackcurrant, raspberry, lemon zest, and also we use lactose in it. So it's basically drinking a berry smoothie. It's delicious. It's
I had
tart.
it at my cupcake and beer pairing that I hosted at Sweet Bakery 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was a big hit.
Yeah. I actually, people were in who'd been to your cupcake pairing, yes, and they said that they loved it. So that was really awesome. So thank you.
Yeah. And I don't drink it as much. I don't drink as many of the lactose beers. More, I find, because of my diabetes and my blood sugar, they're a little bit sweet for me.
Yeah.
But then I forget. I think I am missing out, and I'm a little bit hard on them at times. But it was a delicious beer.
Good.
And
I'm glad you like it.
I do enjoy as much as I'm hard on lactose as an ingredient. Sometimes I know there's the lovers and the
it's a huge divide for sure.
I think again your stuff is well enough done that I do enjoy it in there. And,
we don't overdo.
Wrong.
That's the thing about our beers. We really try to balance the flavors. So we're not going to overdo the lactose and make it super sweet. We're going to use it as a balance, something to balance out the tartness.
Yes.
So we have a lot of tartness in that beer from the black currants, the sour itself.
Yeah.
And so just using the lactose kind of really balances out that tartness.
I love it.
Yeah.
And balance is a good word. Like, I get tired of hearing everyone say, "Oh, it's so balanced" when they're doing tasting notes. But I think there's people using the word balance, and then I think there's actually the true nature of what balanced means.
Yeah.
So recently, when I was out in Michigan as well, there were some of the beers that I'm like, oh, like you could almost taste back and forth, and I thought a bit that's kind of what balance means too. You can taste the one end but the other, and you're kind of not fighting each of them, but you're like, wow, this really meets in the middle of what is meant to be showcased on it too. So
for sure.
I think there's saying that word and then actually being
executing
that word.
it. Yeah. I think we want everybody to be able to taste the ingredients that we put in too, right? So we want, like, if there's black currant, we want you to be able to taste it.
Yes.
So I feel like if there's too much going on or the flavors aren't balanced, then you're just tasting one thing. And I don't want to just taste one thing. You want it to be sort of dynamic and like have a lot of depth of flavor, which is sort of what we try to do.
Chapters of a book.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
A little bit of a different story.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we do try to do that as well in our beers.
Yeah, I'm going to notice that more. I think it's fun to pull that out because sometimes you say, oh, this says so and so, and like you're right, other places I've had some beers and you're like, well, I don't taste any of that in there, right?
Yeah.
So what went wrong along the way is usually what I'm more curious about just for learning. But you're right, you really do have some bold and bright flavors in your stuff.
We do, for sure.
In the graphics, I could go on about the skull. So Thrillsner has a beautiful skull on the can.
Yeah, it does.
Very good. Also has a skeleton.
It has. We have that as a theme. A lot of skeletons.
I like it. That's the main reson I go there, is for all the skeletons on the cans. Invisible Friend with a ghost.
Yeah, it has a ghost.
It's one of my new favorite APAs.
Yeah.
It's my jam. But your branding's been beautiful. I think from the start you guys have, I'm just going to here to give you tons of compliments, but you really are like, I think from the get-go I've sort of been to your place, and I really love the way it's grown from a bit of a, not to say critique, but from someone who travels around to breweries for somewhat of a living. It's nice to see the way you guys have grown, and I always think you're just a really good example of how to do something right. And I'm sure there's maybe days that this isn't true, or backstories where you're like, oh my goodness, what's happening today, right? But I think you've done a really good job at focusing on the community, building the community first. I think your brand's very consistent as far as labels go, but still having the creativity to them as well. It's not confusing to know that the beer's not from you or where it's come from. And you're the background and design for all that stuff. So that's pretty good. I think that took me a while to realize. I thought maybe you're just overseeing what was being done there, but
no,
the fact that you're actually designing that is really, really good.
I mean, I think the consistency comes from the fact that I designed the logo, the space itself, and all the can art. I mean, I don't do the illustrations. We have a wonderful illustrator named Jillian Wilson in Guelph who does our illustrations. I like to give Jillian a shout out. She's awesome. She's so good. But I do all the design and I commission those illustrations. So it's all very consistent coming from me. So with my design background, it's super handy.
So we just have a bit over a minute. So tell me what goes on in the tap room, because you guys do a ton of events.
We do.
So summarize where to find everything.
Okay, sounds good.
If your beers, you know, if you guys are in accounts as well, or just at the brewery. So give us a little lowdown on that before we.
So we have tons of events. It's kind of our thing to be a community-centric place. So we host events, food pop-ups. We have an Oktoberfest event. We do like family fun day for Christmas where Santa comes, and we do gingerbread houses. So there's all kinds of fun things that we do every weekend. You can find our events at grainandgritbeer.com/events. Or you can find, and we post everything on Instagram. So our handle's at grainandgritbeer.
Yes, your social media is just in tune with all the other stuff you're doing.
I really enjoy doing it.
Is that all you?
Everything is me. Come on.
Yeah, it's all him.
I'm very hands-off on that stuff.
It's good. We have divided roles, and mine is that stuff, and his is the beer side.
Fantastic.
So,
Well, thank you again for joining us today. It was a pleasure. You can grab their beer in the brewery or at certain licensees throughout Hamilton, I'm guessing.
And some in Brantford. We're sometimes at the social.
We focus on Hamilton mainly. Just that's where we are, and I do all the distribution myself, so it takes a lot of time. But we're in some London, Brantford, Woodstock, Hamilton, St. Catharines.
Excellent.
We don't post where we are, but
We're
around. All right, we're going. On to Dre. Cheers.